So I want to welcome everybody. For those that don't know me, my name is Dave Harkins. I'm the Chief of Police here, Gloucester Township Police. I want to welcome everyone. I want to introduce our Mayor who's here, Monsignor Mike Mannion, who's our chaplain here. I see Chief Ed Smith's in the back. I don't know if anybody else recognize them. But I want to welcome Mike. We're here to celebrate Corporal Mike Trabosh's retirement, which is kind of hard for me to believe because, I remember when he started and really feel old up here when Mike's retiring and whatnot. But I'll get into that in a few minutes. But I want to welcome Liz. I want to welcome Gianna and Mikey who are here. This is all about you guys. Mike's dad, who is retired Corporal Michael Trabosh, badge number 70, his mom Susan that's here. And also want to recognize retired Detective Ron Trabosh, badge number 35 that's here, his uncle, and our honored judge, Nick Trabosh, his uncle. So we'll start it off like we normally do. Mike probably needs all that he can get, so we'll start with a prayer. Monsignor Mannion, come on up and say a prayer for Mike.
Hope you didn't talk to Mario.
I hope you didn't talk to Mario.
You didn't talk to Mario.
This wasn't from an unhappy.
No, it was all happy, all happy.
Anything special in the direction that
You got it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Let us pray in this special Easter week. Lord of all life and creation, we give you thanks for the dedication, service, commitment, and years of selfishness given to this community and to this police force by Michael. During this Holy Week, many of us reflect on and give thanks for you, our God, who became one of us so that we could all be saved by you. As your people, we go through many challenging times in life, holding on and letting go. Experiences, people, places, things, memories. For life is a series of letting go and then reattaching to hold on. We ask your blessing upon Michael this day and his family. Lord, that the opportunities that lie before him may be built upon the experiences behind him. For we know, Lord, that you hold us all in the palm of your hand. Bless him and his family, and may the years ahead be as eventful and fulfilling as those behind. We ask you, Lord, one God, forever and ever, and may we always act justly, love tenderly, and walk humbly with you, our God. Amen. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monsignor. Again, this is really, for the officers and whatnot, this is really about the family. So again, I want to just take the moment, really welcome Gianna, Gianna, Mikey, Liz, Mike, Sue, and I left out the first time, Melissa, I'm sorry. Mike's sister is here joining us. Also joining us, Assemblyman Dan Hutchinson is here joining us along with the mayor. And so again, this is kind of a little surreal for me, I remember when Mike was hired, and a little bit about knowing that his brothers, were mentors, his father and uncle, I'm sorry, not brother, they were brothers, but they helped mentor me. That's what I always thought about the Trabosh brothers. I thought of the three. And of course, Judge Nick Trabosh, who has been such a great mentor in many ways through the system and whatnot. But we're gathered today to celebrate the career of Corporal Mike Trabosh, badge number 162. And I got to tell you, part of the surrealness of it is, it truly is an end of an era here at Gloucester Township Police Department. I say that because tomorrow will be the first time since July 10th, 1973, that no one with the last name of Trabosh will be a Gloucester Township police officer. Think about that. Since 1973, there has been a Trabosh here as a police officer in Gloucester Township. The Trabosh family has such deep roots with serving the community here in Gloucester Township. As I mentioned, Mike's dad, Michael Sr., badge number 70, retired as a corporal, who served here from September 4th, 1978 till February 1st, 2008. His uncle, retired Detective Ron Trabosh, who served here July 10th, 1973 to February 1st, 2001. And it seems like yesterday. And these two guys, well, I'll add this, his uncle Nick Trabosh, of course, who's retired here for all of us to know as the municipal judge here in Gloucester Township, but also who previously served as president of our township council. And I also want to recognize he's too busy out on the bench today. The tradition of service continues here with Mike's cousin, current Gloucester Township Municipal Judge Ryan Trabosh, who does a great job here for us in Gloucester Township. And so it's no wonder to us that why Mike wanted to follow in his family's footsteps to serve as a Gloucester Township police officer. I can tell you just my experiences with the Trabosh family, including Mike, they were all gentlemen, truly gentlemen. People that took me under their wing when I was a new police officer, didn't know anything about auto theft. And Ron was the senior detective. His radio number was 401. You didn't bother him. He was in the back office in the detective bureau. And being a young officer, I could tell you that he took the time whenever I had the interaction with him to bring me in and teach me and show me things. And Mike, we worked the streets together. Mike Sr. worked the streets together for many, many years, and handled calls and saw each other all the time and was always a gentleman. And even past that, Mike has continued to serve as a security officer at Camden County Technical School, moving up through there. He's been there since he left here and continues to serve in that way. And I'm always glad to see him when I'm down there for a meeting, even years past for incidents and whatnot, because I knew he was on the same wavelength as us, thinking as Gloucester Township officer. So, and of course, Judge Trabosh, who, again, just being in the courtroom with him, having to testify in front of him so many times, and getting to know him and to watch how he interacted with people, and then having to work with him for our SAVE program, which is, I know it's probably one of his proudest accomplishments, but it is an integral part of what we do as police officers in changing the mindsets. And we could have never done that had it not been for the forward thinking of Judge Trabosh. And he's always been such a support to me and a good friend. And I appreciate all of them. And again, that was that kind of set the stage for me back, I guess, in early 2000, I don't know, 3 or 4, when I became a sergeant and got assigned to work with Michael. And Michael was a young guy then, and but I knew where the roots came from, and I knew what kind of guy he was. And we had a lot of fun. We took things serious, but that was the key. And I always say that to the new officers, that you have to have fun being a police officer here with all that goes on. If you're not having fun, you're not doing something right, and you have to have that. But having those roots, having the Trabosh roots, really paid off well for Michael, and it continues to grow, as it's so great to see his family here, the next generation going on. A little bit about Mike. He began his law enforcement career here when he was hired as a Class 1 Special Law Enforcement Officer for the Gloucester Township Police Department on February 2nd, 1999. He was hired as a full-time officer just shy of a year later on January 17th, 2000, and he attended the Camden County Police Academy Basic Class number 33. He was assigned to the Operations Division, where he served as a patrol officer for the first 15 years of his career. Yes, as Mike spent most of his time, as his father used to tell all of us, in the trenches. He was down in the trenches. And while reviewing Mike's file, in preparation for his retirement, I saw some of the letters and some of the stuff that Mike had, he shared with me. We found a commendation letter from June 11, 2003, where Mike responded to the former Nike base lake for a 20-year-old man who had dived into the lake and fractured his neck. Mike was the first officer there, quickly assisted getting the man out of the lake. He was there with friends, and he assisted in safely removing him, and he immediately applied that C-spine stabilization. He held his neck to prevent him from moving and whatnot. The commendation letter was very clear. It was written, and it quoted a paramedic who credited Michael's actions with preventing the man from becoming fully paralyzed. The paramedic went on to say that Mike's actions saved that young man's life. And sometimes we take that, it was just another call that he got sent to, and we take that for granted. But there's a young man, we don't know what happened with him, but who had another chance at life, who wasn't paralyzed because Mike took his training serious, because Mike responded that day and performed so well. And so when I like you guys to hear that, you may not see your father in that act, you may not see that. They know it because they've done it. But there is someone, probably has a family today and is alive because of the actions of your dad. And that is, we take it for granted. That's what we do. It happens all the time around here. But we shouldn't take it for granted. That is the heart of the police officer, being that responder to go do well for someone, and actually to save someone's life is a tremendous thing. That you don't ever forget that your dad did that. When Mike and I had lunch the other day, we shared some of the memories that we had, which I always enjoy because, again, as I go up, guys retire. Mike actually knew me when I worked the street and things like that, where so many don't. We shared some memories that we had from our time serving when, again, I was Mike's deputy platoon commander at one point, sergeant, and then became his platoon commander. And Mike even shared with me the other day the memo that he had. Yeah, I don't understand. He had 3 copies of it in his file. Must have been really important, and where he wrote a memo to Captain Nort Davis explaining why he called out sick from Chicago at an Eagles game in 2004. But that was, I remember that. I was his lieutenant, and we made it through that, right? And Mike was good and whatnot, but a little misunderstanding there. But that was Mike. No shock. All good. But we also spoke about some of the other jobs that we were on, and again, it brought back memories to some of these jobs that we went through, shared same of the time and stresses and whatnot. And one of them was the role that Mike played with me during a significant arrest that we made and an investigation. It was a real, honest-to-goodness child predator who had attempted to abduct a child near Loch Lomond Drive in 2004. And we were able to garner the assistance of the neighborhood, people that were in there, and we were able to apprehend him. And Mike was one of the apprehending officers. But that was it took hours through the investigation, whatnot, and patience and for us to get that. But Mike was an important part of that role, sitting in the hot woods. It was the middle of the summer, waiting along and being patient and staking the guy out. And we got a tip on our beepers. I got a beeper from somebody. I know that's really old, but we got a beep and telling us that the subject may be around, and Mike was the apprehending officer along with some other officers that were there. And that played a role, and we got the job done. And we talked about a lot of other smaller jobs that we could keep going on and on. But I will say that the impact that Mike had was here as it was really on the children of Gloucester Township. For the last 9 years of his career being a school resource officer. And I didn't even realize, Mike knew this, but he brought it up to me the other day that, one of the reasons that I had the confidence of him becoming a school resource officer, not only his experience and things like that, but he knows that he was working the night that we had a shooting in our police headquarters here. And it was captured on video, And I know the mayor remembers that night. We were a lot of us that were going through that day. It was right after Christmas, but one of the things that impacted me was Mike, who was finishing his shift, pulls into the back and immediately jumped into action with his gun out and was rushing in. One of the first officers to rush after the incident had been called out and got us and started giving medical treatment to the officers that were wounded and whatnot. It was clear to me, and I'd often thought about that in the past, because one of the things a school resource officer has to be prepared to do is respond to that kind of incident at a school. And it was, Mike had already proven that he was willing to charge into gunfire, should it be, and take care of business with it. So, you know, I didn't know he knew that had come into the in my thoughts, and maybe I had said it to someone before, but I was an advocate at the time for him to become a school resource officer. And that happened on August 31st, 2015, when he was assigned as a school resource officer in our Juvenile Family Services Bureau. It was here that Mike spent the remainder of his career up until this week. And it was in this position that he had that most significant impact as a role model. He was assigned as what we could call the roving school resource officer for our Gloucester Township schools and our parochial schools from 2015 up to 2021. He was then assigned as a school resource officer at Highland High School from 2022 to 2023, and he went back to being one of the roving officers this year at September 1st, 2023, right up until this day. Mike has been, I say, a role model because he's interacted with our kids. He's had such a great impact on them. He's also taken advantage of our Junior Police Academy program as an instructor. And I say take advantage of because I always knew Mike was one of the first ones he used to brag to people that he was getting paid to go swimming and barbecue with the kids, which would have been right up Mike's alley, you know. And but he has done that for the last 9 years. And I say that the role model, we're not going to know the impact of Mike's performance in this role as a school resource officer for years to come. Those positive influences that he's had and everyday contacts that he's had with a child or a student that's having a hard time, Mike has probably made the difference more than he's ever even going to imagine or realize. And I certainly know that the perception that he's given for the Gloucester Township Police Department, being that contact, we reap the benefits of that by them being out there when we have to run into them when they become older or whatnot. And Mike has done an excellent job at that, never had a concern, balancing it out with the toughness that you sometimes have to have, but especially with the compassion that a school resource officer has to have to make that impact on people. And we see it in his file when we look through his file, and I know it from the people that bring it up to us about how successful the principals, the superintendent, everyone had the utmost, highest regards for Mike and are sorry to see him retire. Through his career, he's been awarded 4 Distinguished Unit Citations, 2 Police Service Citations, a Chief Citation, and 3 Outstanding Police Work Letters. And he's had such a great career with going, and we're happy for him that he's able to retire so young. And we're hopeful that he continues in this expertise with speaking to him, the future endeavors, maybe working as a school resource officer part-time in the near future. And we wish him all the best and know that he's welcome anything that we can do to support him with that. For the family, Liz, I want to thank you. Really, this is your retirement as well. He told me you work from home, so good luck with that for at least the next 30 days. Sitting there, putting up with him, keeping busy. But I know that he's got the opportunity for you guys, Gianna and Mikey, to have your dad be around and be able to do things with you is really a blessing. So take advantage of that. But thank you for supporting him through his police career. I know being a school resource officer, they get a lot of phone calls at all different times. The teachers call them, the principals call them before they call the police, they call the school resource officer and they don't care what time of night it is. So we apologize for all that disruption in your life, but we appreciate and thank you for your understanding and support of Mike throughout his career. It's very important for him to be young enough to spend time with you guys and enjoy the rest time with you, and have more flexibility and whatnot to do. So, like I said, you're a big part of why he has had a successful career and why he's thought of so highly by these men and women here of the Gloucester Township Police Department. You know, we know, like I said, being an SRO takes a special kind of cop. It was all those calls that Mike handled at all times of the day, and how serious he took his training to protect others. That was the heart of the matter, and he took it very serious and was a great example to all of our newer officers and those that will continue to carry on as a school resource officer. We just know that we're going to be better off for the impact that Mike has had on so many kids' lives in our community and in Gloucester Township. So with that, I want to congratulate Mike on having a successful career. You know, your expertise and really your personality. We know what that means. These guys know what that means. That personality will be greatly missed around here. That sense of humor, that openness to say the things that sometimes I couldn't say. Mike was open to do that and straighten people out. And Mike did a great job with that. So we appreciate it. You're going to be missed, and we wish you all the best in everything else that's to come. So congratulations. This time, Mayor, please come up.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Chief. Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry I'm a little slow today. I think it's all those many years of playing professional sports that's finally caught up with me. And you all know that's a joke. Don't want to sweat. But the good news is Mike can finally beat me in the 50-yard dash. Barely, but he can now. But Mike, I wanted to offer our congratulations on behalf of our town council, Assemblyman Hutchinson, on all the residents of Gloucester Township for your years of service to our community here in Gloucester Township. Congratulations on a very, very successful career. Certainly the chief said it all, but I do want to focus on what you've done over the years as a school resource officer. You know, I can remember after Sandy Hook, meeting with then Chief Earl and hi, Chief Smith, didn't mean to not recognize you. But meeting with Chief Earl and Deputy Chief Harkins at that time, and just kind of contemplating the reality of the cruel world, of who would inflict such barbaric act on elementary school children. It just wasn't comprehensible. And we sat around and we talked and we said, well, what? And I said, what can we do? How can we respond to this to make sure that the children in our schools are as protected as possible? And they came up with this revolving SRO program that we have now, which, by the way, we are expanding, and you'll hear more about that in the future. But Mike, you know, you stepped up in that role, and you know how important it is to me that our police department especially interacts with the young people of our community. And anytime I would go into a school, there's Mike, and I could tell it was Mike because I could see him from way in the distance because all he did is smile. Mm-hmm. He would just smile all the time. The kids would come around him and interact with him, and that's so important. And it lasts so long and makes such a big difference in the lives of those children. And you know, not only from the protection of those children, but also from that interaction, knowing that they have a confidant in you, that they can come up to you and our officers and talk to our officers and feel safe and feel secure. So thank you for helping us in that direction. It truly means a lot and has meant a lot. And you know, as the chief mentioned, your legacy here is not only that, but you know, being a mentor to so many others, especially in our young department that we have today, that will last generations as well. The one thing though, Chief, I didn't realize was that barbecuing was part of our training program. So I guess maybe I'll
little
attend a
hidden
couple
gem.
Yeah. But no, helping in that regard, again, is Mike. So thank you so much to Liz and the family. Thanks for sharing your husband and your dad with our community. It's not easy to do that, but he made a big difference. And I know you're proud of him, we're proud of him as well, and his parents and uncles, and all very proud. You know, the Trabosh family has a very long history of service here in Gloucester Township. That continues today, Nick, with your son on the bench. And we are very, very grateful for that and for your family's dedication to this community and giving back to this community. So Mike, I wish you the very, very best as you enter a new phase in your life. But you can always look back with pride upon your accomplishments and what you've done to help people in this community and be a bridge to our younger folks, understanding the importance of the police department being a fabric of this community. So congratulations and thank you very much for that dedication. Wish you the very, very best.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Should have said also, I forgot to mention it, somehow Ron came back to us. He's here. Ron's still working here in ours as a code enforcement. But that just goes to tell you, the impression that you made. So well done. So with that, without further ado, man of the hour, Corporal Michael Trabosh, badge number 162.
Thank you, everybody. Wow, me and Jason Kelsey retired in the same month. Go figure. Nobody will ever wear number 62 for the Eagles ever again. And Chief Harkins told me today that no one will ever wear badge number 162, so I appreciate that. Thank you. I want to thank my family for being here today, my sister, mom, and dad. I would like to thank them for all the support throughout my career. Mom and dad for always standing by me, even though my mom never wanted me to be a police officer like my dad. She wanted me to pursue a career in building trades. After attending half days at GC at Gloucester County Road Tech and taking carpentry, I built a couple houses in the summertime in Pittman and realized that's not the career I want to pursue. And probably the last time I ever picked up a hammer. From there, I got a job as a security guard, and soon after, my dad helped me get hired at Gloucester Township Police Department at 19 as a Class 1. I can't thank him enough because this was my future, where my future began. I was able to take the civil service test, and results happened to come in while I was on vacation with my friend Jamie and his family. My dad called me and told me my results was a 99. I questioned if he was sure, and it could be a 66, but in fact, it was a 99. What a great time to ace my first test. At this time, there were 5 platoons, and my dad had enough pull to allow me to pick what platoon to work for. The 5th platoon had a reputation of being very hardworking. In the department, with Lieutenant Kane, Mike McDonald, Scott O'Meara, Farrell, all of which are still great friends of mine. After countless nights at the firehouse going over jobs, I couldn't have made a better choice. Can't name everyone, but over the years, along with them guys, I became great friends with so many of my co-workers. Mario, obviously, Gansky, Sprignoli, Patini, Tommy Stilsheimer, McHugh, all their SROs, and many other school staff that I can't even start to name. I want to thank Sergeant Garber and Sergeant Stein for probably saving my life on 12/28/13 when the police station shooting occurred. I want to thank Mike McDonald for driving me to Keenan's at Wildwood for the Irish weekend, where I bought the prettiest girl in the bar a Twisted Tea. The rest is history. I'd like to thank my beautiful wife who puts up with me and gave me 2 amazing kids. Gianna, you made me a father, and I'm so proud of all your accomplishments. Cross country, cheer, track, all while doing amazing in school. Mikey, I'm excited to be coaching you again in baseball this year, and so proud that you are doing well in school too, learning so fast. In conclusion, after April 1st, the chief said, it'll be the first time in almost 50 years there'll be not a Trabosh working in Gloucester Township Police Department. 80 years combined with me working 25 years, my dad working 30, and my Uncle Ron working 25. I looked up the stats. In 80 years, we wrote 86 traffic tickets. And arrested 19 people. However, my Uncle Nick found all 19 not guilty. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming out. I'm looking forward to my next chapter in life, and I know I'll always be part of Gloucester Township Police Department. Thank you.
So as part, that's not that far off. No, in closing, before I make the final presentations, I just want to reiterate this Gloucester Township, which we call Police Department family, and that this Traboshes know so well about because they've been part of this family, both literally and figuratively, but that will continue. Gianna, Mikey, Liz, this is your family as well. As they know it, you will always be part, you'll always have a special place here, you'll always be welcome. Mike will always be welcome, and we will support each other, recognize each other, and because we know what it's like to be a Gloucester Township cop, and what that means to us, and it'll always be part of the fabric and our blood here as Mike will carry on. So with that, I want to make some presentations. Now, the first thing we do, not that Mike wears a suit that often, or even though, but we have the lapel pin, which that we give, and we want you to proudly wear this at any time as part of the Gloucester Township Police Department. And it's my honor to present you with your retired police identification cards and your retired badge. You have the honorary card as well as the badge, and then your police ID.
I want to thank you for giving me a new wallet, by the way.
Yeah, you probably
I was
did.
holding all that.
You're a vigil hire, yeah.
Okay, big hole in this. I was waiting for a long time. Thank you.
I'm sure. Don't use your uniform allowance for anything, Mike. It's all right. But we'd also, at this time, on behalf of a grateful department, we want to present to you your badge plaque, presented on this day with all of Mike's badges, all of everything that was important to him. Is actually reading a book down here in his card, one of his original cards, and his purple stripes. And we were lucky to get this here today because, as I understand, in typical Trabosh fashion, you were a little delayed in getting it.
I had to give a hat badge. I don't want to be out with a hat.
Anyway, I want to present that to you, Mike. Well deserved, and it's an honor for us to present this to you, and it is just a small token of our appreciation for all you've done in service here at the Gloucester Township Police Department.
Thank
So
you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
This concludes our formal presentations in here. At this time, we'll be under the canopy, right, John? We'll be under the canopy here because of the rain. We ask all uniform and officers to head out and stand and muster for the final radio call. Families, stand fast.
Order, out! Alice!
Radio to all personnel, stand by for a special announcement. Effective today, March 27th, 2024, Corporal Michael Trabosh, batch number 162, will retire after serving 25 years as a law enforcement officer. Corporal Trabosh was hired by the Gloucester Township Police Department on February 2nd, 1999 as a Class 1 Special. Before being hired full-time on January 17, 2000, Corporal Trabosh started his career in the Patrol Division before being assigned to the Juvenile Family Services Division, where he served as a roving school resource officer. We are grateful for Corporal Trabosh's dedicated service to the Gloucester Township Police Department and the community. We wish you, Corporal Trabosh, a long and happy retirement.
Bravo 162 to radio.
Bravo 162.
Off duty.
Any last words?
That's it.
That's
Done.
it. See.